So just so we're all on the same page, the whole episode's going to be about Josh Allen being the most elite quarterback in the history of time, right?
He's amazing. I
Did you
mean,
say overrated?
Well, have we ever seen a quarterback get his offensive coordinator fired on a team that's supposed to be in the Super Bowl?
but like, not only that, he probably should have been fired 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
No.
3 weeks. Well, we're going to take all the blame off Josh Allen and just put it on this guy? We're not going to
No, but I'm saying if it's his fault.
Wait a second. I know a really good place that all this stuff could be discussed. You guys know where we should go?
I guess.
Welcome to the next episode of Three and Out. Welcome back to week 11 of the Three and Out podcast, where the NFL seems to have gone to complete and total shit the last couple weeks. We lost another quarterback for the year. One quarterback got his OC fired, and apparently one quarterback's keeping his job because so is his head coach. I'm your host, Wade Cavati, and joining me as always are the greatest co-hosts in fantasy football, Mike Dutton and Fiamano. Everybody is decked out for Blue Week. I like it.
Go Blue Hens. You're going down, Wildcats in Villanova. Taking you down.
I like your
game.
coat, Fee. Where'd you get that? Like, what is that exactly?
I don't know. It's got like camo underneath it. And,
Right.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going
tag
on.
Still got the tag on.
Nice. Well, let's just get into it because Buy It or BS is going to have a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to have to discuss this week. We're going to start with our buddy, Artie. Arthur Blank said that Arthur Smith is not only safe through this year, but likely safe through 2024. Anybody, I open the floor for, is Arthur Blank really the major problem? Because let's review.
It sounds like it.
The Falcons in 3 in a row have lost to a quarterback that threw for 4 touchdowns in his first game and has not thrown a touchdown since in 2 games. They lost to 1-8 Cardinals team that Kyler Murray hadn't played in literally a calendar year. It was 365 days, wasn't it? He threw his last pass. They lost to that. And I'm sorry. And in between, they lost to a guy that hadn't unpacked his suitcase and admitted he didn't know his wide receivers' names. Is there another head coach that keeps his job after that in the NFL? Is there? Like that? It doesn't make sense.
You could just read what I wrote. I just said move on. I don't want to talk about this anymore because this is so moronic. It really is. It's so moronic that we are at this point that this man still has a job, that he probably has a job through the rest of this year, and that he probably has a job all of next year. It's just moronic.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing pretty much. I was going to be like, do we actually really need to talk about Arthur Smith at all ever again? I mean,
the thing is we're coming down a playoff run, and there's 3 legitimate fantasy guys on playoff teams likely that we have to worry about, right? Like, are they startable? Is Bijan Robinson seriously a weekly start running back right now?
I don't think he is because if he loses, he doesn't play him. Right. And if he wins and he doesn't play him, then he says, see, I don't need to play him.
Yeah, it's scary that, on paper, Bijan Robinson you have to start him talent-wise in this offense that's not going to change for the next 2 years. I hope you didn't draft him as a keeper, right? Or Drake London as your keeper. Like, it's awful. Anyway, Josh Allen got his offensive coordinator fired. Let's talk about that because you know that we've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this all week. Fee.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Josh Allen needs to stop turning the ball over. Okay. And that's obviously why his OC got fired, but I don't know that you can blame his offensive coordinator for Josh Allen's shortcomings.
Right.
Can you? I mean, the guy turns the ball over nonstop. And here's the thing. Everyone wants, and this is a terrible equation. I'm going to equate it to something, and it's terrible. But everyone wants Daniel Jones to be a better quarterback. And the way he does that is by pushing the ball downfield and taking chances and more risk, right? The reason why he has such a high completion percentage and why he's not so great is because he just dinks and dunks the ball down the field and just takes what's open. And that's why he gets sacked 10 times a game. Josh Allen is the complete opposite of that. He's a gunslinger and he fires the ball everywhere because he thinks he can get it into small, tight spaces and or triple double or triple coverage or whatever. But what happens is he turns the ball over, right? So you get all these great plays by him, but you get all these terrible plays by him. And what he needs to do is figure out the proper times to take those chances and risks versus not taking those chances and risks. And that's really on him, not an offensive coordinator, right?
Right. And the risk part is really good. I didn't think about that, but it's accurate. But the last thing you said is also accurate. It's like you could bring in whoever you want to try to fix Josh Allen, but these have been the problems since day one. He's not going to be fixed, but he throws for a ton of touchdowns. And fantasy wise, he's still, I think he might be number one in points.
Fantasy points, maybe.
Yes.
Sam Howell has thrown for the most yards in the NFL.
I know, right? And not as many interceptions or fumbles as Josh Allen. So who's more valuable, right? Like, don't Washington and the Buffalo Bills have the same record, right? So if winning's if quarterback is about winning,
what
isn't that? I think they're the same record. Like, go ahead.
I think Washington. Go ahead, Don.
He got his offensive coordinator fired. But here's the thing. Everything Fee said is correct. And if the offensive coordinator's problem and fault, then why didn't you fire him 3 weeks ago so that he didn't keep turning the ball over? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not the offensive coordinator's fault. It's that the Bills had to do something. They're not going to fire Josh Allen. Right? They're not going to sit Josh Allen right now. Sean McDonough is next to go. Let's be honest. McDermott, sorry. If they don't finish in the playoffs, or actually at this point, I think they have to make the playoffs and then win a couple of games to save his job. Like, seriously.
They're not even going to make the playoffs.
Right.
Playoffs? We're getting funky here. We're ripping on Josh Allen.
I think there's a lot there. And I think Josh Allen turning the ball over is a big problem. And here's the thing. They're going to break down all of his interceptions of, that bounced off this guy's hands. That's not his fault. But they are his fault because he throws every pass at 150 miles an hour when it doesn't have to be 150 miles an hour.
He fumbles a lot too. Let's not forget. Last year
he had
13
2 fumbles. That
the year before that, he had 8. He's already fumbled 4 times this year.
By the way, Washington is 4-6. Buffalo's 5-5, so they're a game ahead.
Right. And who's supposed to be a Super Bowl contender and who was supposed to be what the hell's going on?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, CJ Stroud has 3rd in passing yards in the NFL, and he's only thrown 2 interceptions.
And I believe they both one came last week, and he fumbled for the first time this season as well. It was his first 2 turnover game.
I hope nobody's watching who has epilepsy because Wayne's going to give him a seizure.
Yeah, I'll turn that off, or I'll slow it down. Speaking of great segue, Fee, buy it or BS. Last week we said CJ Stroud is the rookie of the year. Screw it. Buy it or BS Dutton. He's MVP.
Okay. Would I vote for him for MVP? Yes. Is he in the conversation for MVP? Yes. Is he going to win the MVP? No. The writers will not vote for him to win the MVP. Look, it is what it is. If you take CJ Stroud away from the Texans, they don't win a game.
Yeah.
They are a playoff contender, division contending team right now. So, yes, he is the most valuable player, but he is not going to win the award.
Fake.
I say if he continues on this path of completion percentage, yards thrown, and whatever that passer rating is that he has, because then I say absolutely he should win the MVP. He's, like I said, he's 3rd in yards and passing yards. No other quarterback has less than 5 interceptions on the year, and he only has 2. So if he continues on this path, I don't know that there's any reason not to give him the MVP. And I get what Dutton's saying, that he's a rookie, and that the writers won't want to vote for him, and so that's possible. But I mean, listen, if Houston either makes the playoffs and or wins the division and makes some noise in the playoffs. And I know the playoffs don't matter towards the MVP, but if they do something, I don't know how you don't give it to him.
I mean, he could end up becoming the sexy pick by the end of the year, right? Where it's like, okay, the writer's like, you know what? We're going to turn this league upside down this year and vote for the rookie because he deserves it. I mean, right now, he probably deserves it. I told you, you can't take him off that team and then make them good.
No other quarterback.
Go ahead. I think you're going to ask the question I am.
Well, I was going to say no other quarterback is really making a case as to, being, by far and away, the best player in the NFL, not just quarterback, but player. Right. Like no one's really taking their team on their shoulders and bringing them to the promised land. Like,
we had the 2 weeks of Tyreek Hill talk, and then we haven't heard about him in forever. Then there was the AJ Brown talk, and then he was on a bye, so that kind of slowed it down. But like, they're not going to give it to wide receiver. Jerry Rice didn't win MVP. They're not going to give it to a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to get 2,000 yards, and that's not happening. He's not on that pace.
And McCaffrey just doesn't. I mean, he's got to be up there as one of the best running backs fantasy wise right now, but he doesn't feel like the NFL MVP. It's just there's not a lot of options, and if you throw these crazy comebacks that he's pulling off,
with 2 in a row.
Like Fee said, if he wins the division, I think he's MVP.
If he wins the division and they're hosting a playoff game, he's MVP. Like, yes, I agree with you, but I think the writers right now would have a hard time voting.
Yeah. Buy it or BS. Keaton Mitchell, the Ravens, young fella back there. It's time to go with him over the Gus Bus. Fee, buy it or BS.
I'm gonna buy it, although it's interesting because the Gus Bus is still getting more touches, but it's very close. He's clearly taken the backup role over Justice Hill. So it's like, it's really Gus and Keaton Mitchell, and that's it. That's what they're going with. He's looked fantastic, but he's only had 12 carries. Right. So in 2 weeks. And yes, he's like destroyed everybody.
He's doing the most with his 12 carries.
Right. But he needs a lot more if we're talking fantasy, he needs a lot more volume and touches and opportunity if you're going to go with him over Gus Edwards, because there's going to be regression. He's not going to continue to do what he's doing on just 6 carries a game.
Right.
And however many, receptions he's getting.
Dutton.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Fee. I mean, I think it's kind of like the whole Mike Allstott Warwick Dunn conundrum way back when, in a way. Like, he's going to get you into the red zone goal line, but then the ball's being handed to Gus Edwards from the 2-yard line, right?
Yeah.
Like, so he's going to vulture some of your touchdowns, but he had his big run last week. So then you're like, oh, maybe he gets more of the 2. Right. So I think I don't know. It's hard. I don't know.
He's definitely startable no matter what.
Yeah.
The question is, I guess the better question is, can you start Gus Edwards with as much confidence, not fearing that Keaton Mitchell's going to take away points?
Right.
Maybe that's the better question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one. But since you brought up Mike Allstott, I went down a Mike Allstott rabbit hole yesterday afternoon, and watching him run the ball is absolutely amazing. Yeah, it was I was like, oh my God, this guy's incredible.
He probably lost 4 inches in his career because he just kept pounding his neck into people.
Oh my God. But he just absolutely destroyed people that he would run through. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's a good
small tangent right there.
Dutton, buy it or BS. Just lift the interim status on Antonio Pierce this second. Like, he should be the head coach of the Raiders.
100%. But can we remember that they did this with Rich Bisaccia and he took him to the playoffs and then they didn't bring him back? So I can't trust it, right? Like, I can't. Like, I want to. I mean, I think any team right now would love Antonio Pierce to be their coach. Like, any team would want him to be their coach. His players are playing for him. He's doing a lot with very little right now. I mean, that game was not fun to watch the other night, but his players were in it the whole time.
Yeah. Faith.
Yeah, I'd absolutely say yes. Who doesn't love a player's coach who was a player himself, who's more badass than any other guy on that team?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, like, yeah, absolutely, because those guys are going to want to play for him no matter what. And that's what you need.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's also very indicative that everything we heard about Josh McDaniels not being the player's coach and blowing them off is just showing even more so. Yes, the Pierce gets to get people to play for him, but they wanted somebody to play for, right? Like
Right,
it was
right.
like there for somebody to take and just motivate them and
I
not
mean,
talk to them.
Devontae Adams is not putting up his numbers that he normally does, right?
Yeah.
You don't hear him complaining right
No,
now,
he seems very happy right now.
right? Like,
Yeah. Last question, Fee, we're starting with you. Buy it or BS? Josh Dobbs is the most fun to play. He may not be the best, but he is the most fun player to watch in football.
I see what Dutton said there, and he is a lot of fun to watch. Is he the most fun player to watch in football right now? I probably not. I mean, there's a few guys I could think of. Christian McCaffrey is probably one of them. But there's a whole lot of other guys also that are a lot of fun to watch too. So is he the most fun player to watch in football? Probably not, I'd say. But he is a lot of fun to watch.
He is. Done.
he's the most fun. I have never been more excited for a Sunday night game than I am for this Sunday night game because I get to watch Josh Dobbs. Look, the guy didn't know where to go last week in the stadium.
He got lost in the elevator.
Got lost in the elevator. He goes out and he wins. He's doing like spin arounds, runs. The coach is like, I don't know what you're doing, but it looks great. He's just out there having fun. He's fun to watch. They're talking about not bringing Justin Jefferson back because they're 5-0 without him. Like, what's that?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, they're not going to rush him back, they said.
yes, he is fun to watch. He is good for the NFL with everything that's wrong with the NFL right now, with how boring the games are. Bring me Josh Dobbs, pump it into my veins.
Yeah. The best part is where he started the season, and that's Cleveland. And now they would be much better off if they had him over Dorian Thompson, Robinson, Caruso, whatever that guy's name is, and PJ Walker.
Right.
Can we make fun of Deshaun Watson? Anyone want to make fun of him? Karma's
No, because he has $246 million no matter what he does.
Yeah, it's true. I don't like the injury part. I wish it was an injury. I wish he just was like, they were like, we're not going to play you because you've been having a terrible year. I don't like that it's injured, but man, karma, it just has come back to get this guy. He can't stay on a football field.
No.
And I don't trust any of those two quarterbacks back there. DTR.
Which is sad because that team was kind of fun to watch, even though I don't like.
Well, their defense is just insane.
They look.
If
it may still keep them in games in that division, in that the division. It will be interesting, that's for sure. If that they'll be like very 22,000 Baltimore Ravens, where it's Trent Dilfer under center and just defense winning you games. Anyway, locks of the week. How did we do last week, gentlemen? I forget who we picked. Everyone picked right. You picked Fiumano made history by taking a 16-point favorite and hitting. So we won another week. What do you got on again, I did no research this week. I'm just here to host and have fun with you guys. What do we got going on? Dutton started off.
I'm going with the Jets +7. Do you know why I'm going with the Jets +7?
Oh, that's why you're here.
Why?
Because the last time the Jets played the Bills, they beat them.
Oh, yeah.
With the same team that they're playing now. And Josh Allen has turned the ball over 13 times this year, and we've watched him throw at least one interception in the last 5 games. And you're telling me he's not going to throw an interception this week? You're telling me that game's not going to be close? You know why? Because the Bills haven't proven to us at all that they can blow a team out. So until they prove to me, I'm taking the Jets making that game close.
But Dutton, look, nobody gives Josh Allen a hard time as I do.
I know.
So if you're going to say his stats, please say it right. He turned the ball over 15 times.
Oh, sorry, 15.
He leads the NFL. He is the best turner over in the game of football. Give the man his due.
My apologies.
Pete, who are you taking?
I am going with the Miami Dolphins -11.5 against those Raiders. They just went absolutely nuts with Antonio Pierce in his first game there and won. But now they're playing the Dolphins and they're fully healthy. They should be getting A-Chain back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know that they're going to be able to slow them down at all.
What if he wins this game? Does he get Coach of the Year?
Who?
Pierce.
Antonio.
No, Pierce. I was like, are you talking about? That would be great. But
Right?
it's obviously D'Amico Ryans is the coach. Anyway,
Right.
you know what? I didn't look. I'm gonna give my 2 cents here. Let me look at a spread. Let me go here, open my app real quick because I want to see something. Okay, I thought it was gonna be more. The Texans are favored by 5, and I think they're gonna win, but they lost to the Panthers. The Panthers have 1 win. It was the Texans. It's the Cardinals. I get it. I feel like this is going to be another CJ Stroud last minute win, and this game is only going to be 2 points. So I would say take the Cardinals, but of course I think the Texans are going to win. Anyway, that's
Right.
just me throwing a quick dart. I didn't even look at any other spreads. Who do you guys want to lock in? These are 2 huge spreads, gentlemen. You're both nuts.
Yeah, they are huge.
Yeah, but
it's
mine is +7. So the Bills.
It's still, yeah.
I would definitely take the Jets, but I actually like the Arizona call.
Yeah, I
+5.
do too, because I was gonna pick the Texans game, and I was like, "Ugh, this is a letdown game."
Yeah. I like
Okay.
Arizona. I mean, especially with Kyler and
Yeah,
back
McBride
and,
looks good.
James
Is it
Conner's back.
+4?
+5.
+5. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Fee. A lot of pressure on here because you've had 2 really good weeks in a row here, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's time for FanDuel Fee's guaranteed stacks of the week. If you mess up, he will pay all of your entry fees. No, just kidding. But you've been on fire. What do you got?
All right. So I wanted to start this week off with a really super cheap stack that I think can get you where you need to be, and that's Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears against the Detroit Lions. This could be a shootout type of game. Justin Fields is super cheap at 7,400. You pair him up with DJ Moore at 6,800. I know the Bears have looked really bad, but this Lions game could shoot out for you. So that's not a terrible stack to start off with. Stack number 2, Wayne's going to love this one, is the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud at 8K. And you pair him up with maybe Noah Brown if Nico Collins is still out. Noah Brown is only 6,100 going against Arizona, who we talked about their offense just now, but their defense is still not good. Right. And maybe you come back with or maybe you add Singletary to that stack if Dameon Pierce is still out. Right. And maybe you come back with Trey McBride, who's back to relevance now with Kyler Murray. He's looked really good as well. So there's a lot of fantasy goodness in that Houston Arizona game. Stack number 3 is you can't go without saying these guys. Tua at 8,400, Tyreek Hill, the most expensive salaried receiver on the slate, at 9,800, going up against Vegas. They're not going to be able to stop Miami's offense. So Tua and Tyreek. I mentioned Devin Singletary, 6,500. You could throw him in there if you want. If you're not going to stack that game, you could throw him in there as a one-off. If Dameon Pierce doesn't play. And I, if you decide to not go with any of those quarterbacks, you could go with Kyler Murray on the opposite side of that Arizona game. He's only 7,600, and the Texans defense has not been, amazing either. So that's where I'm going this week. You're on mute.
I was muted. The one thing
There
to
you
note is that Noah Brown missed practice today, and it kind of scares me because Noah Brown did miss, 3 or 4 games to open the season. So they
earlier
do
on, yeah.
All right, throw
but
Tank Dell.
I looked while you were talking, and Tank Dell is only 7,000. And if you're gonna go with Montgomery, he's 6,500, which was like out of the top 10 of running backs. So you could still put a nice stack together, even though you got to pay up a little bit over the 6,100.
Yep.
But yeah, Noah Brown when he misses practice, it's kind of scary. Again, of course, this is Wednesday, and pretty much everyone missed practice today. So I mean, it doesn't mean anything, but he has an injury history.
I'm totally on board with Tank Dell.
I love that guy. He's fun to watch. All right, I like those picks. Especially because there was a lot of Texans. All right, let's move on to starts and sits. I didn't play nice last week. I didn't do any research. I didn't do any again, but I'm going to pick some picks as we go along. I got to pull up the schedule. You guys get started. Dutton, how we already talked about him. Who are you going to start at quarterback this week?
Josh Dobbs. I'm starting Josh Dobbs. Why not? He's fun. He's exciting. He's playing Sunday night. It's a primetime game. It's Josh Dobbs season, baby. Josh Dobbs all the way.
Hey,
Uh, I wanted to dig deep here, and I know that he's been horrendous, but I'm gonna start Jordan Love this week. The Chargers are 28th in the league in quarterback points allowed in fantasy.
yeah, that's pretty nice. It's interesting. I don't know that I could get behind starting Jordan Love, but because I thought we could. I thought he was the guy that you get behind, and it scares me.
Tough. It's definitely tough.
You know, I would love to pick Jared Goff, but doesn't it feel like the Lions have become a run team, like a run first?
Yes,
team?
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
much so.
They have.
But he did still have a good week last week, and the
He
Bears
did,
defense
But he
is soft.
had to have a good week last week, right? They needed him to keep
Right.
putting up points.
They could easily run all over. I'll still say Jared Goff because my other pick would be CJ Stroud, and who the heck's not starting him now?
Right.
Who do you want to lock in? I want to go Dobbs.
Here we go, Dobbs.
Lock it in.
I don't care if it's not the right. Oh, apologies. Let's go back a second. No Falcons, no Colts, no Patriots, no Saints. Not a whole lot of quarterbacks you have to worry about this week, but there's definitely a lot of fantasy power there. Let's move on to running backs. Fee, get it started.
I talked about him earlier, Devin Singletary. As long as Damian Pierce is out, Arizona 30th in the league against the run.
Dutton.
Brian Robinson Jr. against the JV New York Giants.
The JV New York
I think they'll use him a lot by the second half.
Yeah.
It's a good pick.
Man, I just want to stay in that Lions game, but I won't. I'll mix it up. Why don't we go with let's go with Henderson on the Rams. They're playing the Seahawks. You can gain yards on the Seahawks. That would be my pick, but I really love Singletary if he's the starting back and Pierce missed practice again today. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's his backfield anyway. I think he's done enough to prove that Damian Pierce is the number 2 back now. But what do you think, Dutton?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I like it.
All right, wide receiver, Dutton, you get it started.
This week I am starting DK versus the Rams because DK was a machine last week. Like he was running angry, he was making great catches. People were yelling at him to get down at the end of the game, but he knew exactly what he was doing. Like, yeah, DK.
I love that pick, by the way. I really like DK this week too. My pick this week is DJ Moore for the Bears against those Detroit Lions.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's pick. I'll go Tank Dell. Tank Dell's my dude. I picked him last week, and he's gonna get in the touchdown. But the DK pick is great. Done.
Yeah,
I would think. Tight end, Fee. I like yours. You could get it started.
Yeah, I'm going with Trey McBride. He's looked fantastic. Kyler Murray's back. He's most of their offense opposite Hollywood Brown. Going up against the Texans. So Trey McBride this week.
Can we take a side note that I just remembered seeing the Cardinals here? Did you guys see Michael Carter got released by the Jets? He's already picked up by the Cardinals.
Really?
The running back?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I get they're paying Dalvin Cook, but Dalvin Cook's washed, and Michael Carter at least knew the offense and showed good skills out of the back. It was weird cut to me. I didn't feel like that was the problem there. I think he'll be a good fit spelling Connor as opposed to these other weirdos, DeMarcado and Keontae Ingram. Anyway, Dutton, go ahead.
Michael Mayer, Raiders against the Dolphins. I don't think the Raiders are going to be scoring a lot, but I think Michael Mayer ends up with a lot of receptions. Like, I feel like this is like an 8 reception, 78-yard game for him or something.
I hate picking a Buffalo Bill, but Josh Allen seems to really like Kincaid.
He does.
And the Jets DBs are taking Diggs and Gabe Davis and whoever they throw on the outside. So I'm going to say Kincaid might be a good start because someone's got to catch the ball.
I like that pick a lot, actually.
I love McBride. So who do you want to go with?
Let's go McBride.
Yeah,
McBride it is.
I think all 3 of those guys are good. So to review, 3 and out starts of the week. The most fun player in NFL, the most electrifying quarterback in professionals, Josh Dobbs, running back Devin Singletary, wide receiver DK Metcalf, and tight end Trey McBride. Let's get rolling with sits fee.
I'm sitting Trevor Lawrence this week. I know that Tennessee is a pass funnel defense, which means that they have a really good run defense and teams have to throw on them, but I have zero confidence in Jacksonville right now.
Dutton, I love yours.
Josh Allen. He's going to throw 3 interceptions. He might throw for 300 yards, but he's throwing for 3 interceptions. So be ready for that.
Who's
Yeah.
Buffalo playing?
The Jets.
Oh, the Jets. Yeah.
We've been saying him the last couple of weeks and he's been coming through for us, but I'm gonna say to keep sitting Lamar. He doesn't seem like a fantasy quarterback right now.
He's a I don't want to say system quarterback because he's a good quarterback no matter where you put him, right? But I think right now he has figured out his role of I don't have to be electric. I'm just not going to turn the ball over. I'm going to get the ball where it needs to go. We're going to run when it's time to run. Like he's playing great in that way. Like
Oh, it's my turn to pick somebody.
You picked Lamar, you said.
Oh yeah, that's what I did. Okay, sorry. I was looking at the screen. You didn't write it in. It confused me.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
The Josh Allen pick I like, but I'm also biased, and you guys know that. So I think Fee should make the tiebreaker here. What do you think?
I like the Trevor pick because Trevor is not putting up much either these days.
Yeah, I like the Trevor pick. That's why I wanted to start with Fee. Let's do Trevor. Running back, Dutton, go for it.
Aaron Jones versus the Chargers. What happened to Aaron Jones? Where is Aaron Jones?
I don't know.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah. So
it's kind of shocking, actually.
Yeah.
Fee.
I'm sitting Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs. They're playing the Eagles, and the Eagles with that front four and that defensive line are forced to be reckoned with. So sit Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah. I don't know who to sit. We got to pick somebody, right? Derrick Henry.
Ooh.
They're playing the
Jaguars.
It's not a bad pick.
I mean, Aaron Jones is the lock here because, I'm not sure he's still playing in the NFL. Is he? Is he in the XFL?
He's on the team, but he's always listed as doubtful or questionable. And then he shows up, and then it's like, oh, there you are, but you're not going to play the whole game.
Right.
Do we think that's what the problem is? Is that he's just like half injured?
Yes.
I think the Green Bay Packers offense is a little bit of a problem now too.
Half injured. Yes.
Who do we want? Who wants to start? Dutton, you start. Because of my last one, this is a good one. Go ahead.
DeAndre Hopkins versus the Jaguars because Will Levis hasn't thrown a touchdown since he lit up against the Falcons.
Right, he can't play the Falcons every week. Fee.
I'm sitting Deontay Johnson for the Steelers going up against the Cleveland Browns.
You may as well throw George Pickens in there too. I can't see either of them having a good week.
Steelers receivers.
Yeah, Steelers wide receivers are good sits. I'm gonna tell you to sit Mike Evans against that he's on the Buccaneers against that 49ers defense.
Not a bad one either.
But I like the Steelers wide receivers here. Deontay.
I do too. I don't think they do much against the Browns.
I guess that means
how they might win the game. But they might win the game.
They will, right? Because it was the 9th week in a row. They did it again. The Steelers were outgained and won the football game. It makes no sense.
Well, it's not like it's not. I know I realize that everyone keeps talking about this, but it's not unheard of to be able to win a game and still get outgained yardage wise.
Yeah, but they won every game. They won every game.
Right. No, I get it.
Once in a while, sure, it happens, and you're like, "Wow, I can't believe we won that game." That's like the Steelers' game plan. Like they discuss it. They're like, "Here's how we're going to not gain a lot of yards." Now, defense let up at this much. It's like, what are you game planning out there? What's his name? Dorsey gets rid. They go hire Dorsey and get rid of Canada, and we find out.
No, that's what'll happen. The Bills will hire Canada.
Yeah. Oh God.
Tight end fee. We'll go to you to get started.
I'm sitting David Njoku going up against the Steelers. The Browns have no quarterback.
No quarterback. Dutton.
Cade Otton with the 49ers. Same reason why you're sitting Mike Evans. They're playing the 49ers.
Yeah, that's a good one. Logan Thomas. I don't know. I haven't
Against the Giants?
even
the Giants-
even against the Giants. I just feel like Howell's going to be airing it out to McLaurin and everybody else on that team. I mean, Njoku seems like an easy pick here for me.
Yeah, I like it. It's just
But Cade Otton, because he came back to earth big time last week, didn't he?
Yep.
mhm.
Those are both two good sits. I'll let you guys decide.
Njoku it is. I like it. Lock it
All right,
in.
the 3 and out sits of the week: at quarterback, Trevor Lawrence; at running back, Aaron Jones; at wide receiver, Fee did say Deontay, but we then agreed that either Steeler wide receiver is a good sit; and at tight end, Njoku, playing the Steelers. But that's more so because of the quarterback situation than the defense. Gentlemen, anything to add on this wonderful Wednesday evening?
No, but go Josh Dobbs, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I can't wait. All right, we'll see. Go win some money, go win some games. It's almost playoff season. Every game matters. I beat Fee by 0.3 points. We'll see you next week on 3 and Out.
I hate you.